Welcome back to another interview series with this week Lauren Hopkins. And I've been waiting to get Lauren on. I had to wait for her brother to have his wedding. I had to wait for Lauren to have a holiday. I'm so glad she's here because she's joining me on another episode of Recruitment 101. And I love this series. So to wind it back, I'm Kerri-Ann Hargreaves of H2 Consultancy. This is Lauren Hopkins of Grace Personnel. We've come across each other, followed each other on LinkedIn for a good few months now, probably since the pandemic. And I know Katie loves to follow Lauren as well. So this is what we're doing, Recruitment 101. I'm going to hand over to Lauren so she can introduce herself, let us know who you are, what you do, where you're based. Shoot, Lauren.
Sure, absolutely. Well, thanks for having me on this. I've watched most of the other episodes. There's definitely in line with us as a business as well.
Good.
I'm Lauren Hopkins. I'm the MD of Grace, and we're an independent business support agency. We're based in Maidenhead, and we cover the Thames Valley area. We are 4 people strong, and we've been going for, 22 years now. But you would be absolutely right in thinking I'm not old enough to have run it for 22 years, or I would have set it up when I was 10 years old. So. I can't take the credit for setting it up at all. My journey in recruitment has been very, very unconventional, to say the least. I started at Grace in 2012 as a fresh-faced grad with no grey hair.
I love the fact that you said fresh-faced. That's
fresh.
Right.
Yeah, it was fresh, and there were no grey hairs. I know all that's changed. And was there for just shy of 4 years. And Nicola, my former boss and founder of Grace at the time, unfortunately fell quite ill. And had to make the really tough but absolutely the right decision for her, decision to sell the business.
Right, okay.
So in 2016, she sold, and that's where my role changed from consultant for 3.5 years to MD. So wow. Kind of like being thrown off a cliff with a bucket of bricks on your back, kind of backwards.
But you didn't sink, and you're clearly swimming and you're doing well. So that's great.
Climb back up. Yeah.
Quite literally scrambling up the hill. But do you know what?
Yes.
They're sometimes the best journeys when they're the hardest, aren't they? You know?
Yeah.
I don't think anything amazing was meant to be easy.
No. And I think the last 12, 18 months have been very true of that. It doesn't matter if you've been doing it for 2 years or 20 years. This was new for everyone.
Everybody,
so we've all been scrambling, learning, and hopefully coming out the other side.
And do you know what? I love that you said learning, because that's been my biggest takeaway from the pandemic, the last 12, 18 months, is that we've learned so much as a business and as people as to how to deal with the situations and how to come out of it stronger at the other end. And I know you have as well, and you've had a great year, which is awesome. And I think it's amazing that we're still here, especially because we are the smaller independent firms, because like you, there's 3 of us, you're 4, but I think you just come together stronger as a team, don't you?
Yeah. It makes me more prouder. I think when I've spoken with other agency owners, and that's something that I think you've probably been the same, didn't really speak to other agency owners before this.
Yes, you're right.
It just wasn't really the done thing. And actually what's been so nice is speaking and meeting with other owners, and you can really wanting them to do well.
100%.
We're all in it.
That community, that community spirit really came together. Like I didn't use LinkedIn the way that we do now. I didn't communicate with other business owners the way that MDs of businesses that we were trying to target to work with, but not of recruitment. I would know local recruiters, but I never spoke to business owners, and that changed massively for me, and it's definitely helped. It's been like a really lovely community, but mentoring circle as well, where you can just bounce off each other. I'm glad you found that too, because obviously we're in a completely different part of the country, aren't we? We're here in the Midlands, in Staffordshire, and I'm glad that you had that as well.
It's so nice. It was sort of a bit of a white flag moment. I think it was right at the beginning, where I'm sure everyone had the same, you had probably what was lined up to be a great April, and then one by one, those numbers were just slashed, and making those awful calls to people to say, you're not starting, which was just awful. And at that point I thought, right, this is going to be really tough. I'm just going to message a few local recruiters and just I was sort of expecting a bit of a well, nothing. I was expecting silence. Just really message all of them to say, look, we all know who each other, we know of each other.
Yeah.
We've never spoken. Obviously this is going to affect everybody.
Actually,
just wanted to say sincerely, I hope you and the agency are okay. And if you'd like a coffee or if you want to have a chat at some point during this year, because it's going to be tough, I'm so happy to do that. I'm really open to do that. And actually had a really, really great response.
Good, I'm glad.
Gosh, never thought of doing that. Normally the other agencies are
that's it. We've always been really complimentary of local agencies if we're able to be, and always pass business around, because obviously we're quite niche, we don't do everything, so if we're able to, we'd recommend other recruiters, and we know that doesn't really happen. And I'm not sure it still does happen, but what the door has opened with COVID is that I communicate with other business leaders, and it's great. And actually a lot of them aren't even local, they're nationwide, which is even better for me because they experience the market differently. And I love that, because it's all different experiences, isn't it? I'm so glad though that you managed to come out of it positively, because recruitment definitely was an industry that was smacked in the face on, I think, what was it, the 23rd or 24th of March when he made that decision. I don't think my inbox has ever been filled so much as candidates saying, will I still start? We were very fortunate that we actually didn't lose any candidates. They all started in April, May and June. Businesses onboarded them virtually, and it all, it continued, but their roles were essential and they weren't going on furlough. I know that we operate in a different market, but what did happen, like what would have happened to you, is literally our whole order book just closed and every opportunity closed, and it took a good 3 or 4 months to come back. So it was challenging, but we got through it, Lauren. We did it.
Yes.
And now we can talk about Recruitment 101. So shall we dive in?
Yes.
Let's have a bit of fun. With this. I'm looking forward to it. So Lauren has shared her 3 with me, and I am so excited to actually see where this conversation goes, because equally I share your same frustration, maybe on different sides, but I share it. So let's go. So what is your first pet peeve to throw into Recruitment 101?
Phone dodgers, without a doubt.
Phone dodgers, yes. Tell me about it, Lauren. Share your pain.
Really, it's an over-reliance on email.
Yes.
And I did a post on this the other day, and it really kicked off. It's, to clarify, there's absolutely a time and a place for email, of course.
Yeah.
But there's also times where it is not the best form of communication.
No.
And there are so many examples of that. We just want to be like, pick up the damn phone. Pick it up.
You'd be able to resolve an issue or just communicate the information in 2 seconds on the telephone rather than being on email. And how hard is it with email that everyone just reads into the words differently, don't they? It's so easy to come across aggressive or rude or abrupt in an email. It really is, because you don't know how the person at the other end is receiving it.
Yeah.
So pick up the damn phone. And are we talking about across the board here? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Talking about clients, candidates, definitely recruiters are in that as well.
Yeah, of course.
Everyone is. I think some really, really kind of really frustrating ones that get me are where I've perhaps called someone and then I get an email 2 minutes later saying, I missed your call.
Call me back.
And it's kind of someone else had sort of shared this advice, which was, you've almost got to train people a bit like children. So if they're emailing you back from that, I'm going to call you back again. And slowly but surely you realize that actually this is a phone call conversation. Or someone who emailed me actually last week saying, can you call me? I thought, for the time it's taken you to email me,
call me,
send it, we could be on the phone already.
There's got to be a song there somewhere. Did Carly Rae Jepsen or whatever her name is sing a song, say "Call Me"? Or I don't know. I'm gonna have to Google it because there's definitely a song there, or maybe even Adele's "Hello" song, "Hello from the Other Side" or whatever it is. Just pick up the phone. I think it's just so much easier, isn't it? Like, pick up the phone. And I get it sometimes because you're sat in an office, your boss is next to you, you can't chat, or and clients might be sat in an open plan room, but literally just say, "I'll call you back in an hour," rather than, because then you go back and forth on email. And I think that my biggest bugbear is when I get a call, I'll call a candidate maybe because I want to chat to them about an opportunity, and they email me back straight away and they might be saying, "Is it this, and this?" And I'm like, okay, just talk to me, because I'm not going to share the information with you on an email. I want to actually chat through this opportunity. And the same with a client, Kerri-Ann, I need this. Okay, chat to me about it.
Yeah. There's so many things, isn't there? Like there's loads of just small sort of frustrating things, but it's also, if you're cancelling an interview, let's say your interview's booked at 10 and at 1:45, if you email me to cancel, I could be in a meeting and I've missed that, and then it's past the start time. If you're going to cancel it,
call.
Have the decency to call.
Only because as well, I think if you call, my personal opinion, and this might frustrate a few people or upset someone, but I feel like you're more genuine if you actually ring. And don't get me wrong, if you sat in hospital, but let's just do as much as we possibly can to actually communicate with each other. And I think, haven't we all learned something over the last 18 months? It's just great to talk to people, let's just hear your voice.
And it also, it's not everything, and you'll probably agree as well, in recruitment, it's not just that one, short term, that one role. It's a long-term relationships. And actually, that's the kind of way you're going to really damage that relationship.
Yeah.
Pick up the phone and just say, "Look, I've had a change of heart," or "Something's happened," that's absolutely fine. But if you just, it's people just hiding behind a screen for lots of different reasons, like the cancellation, or I'm not going to take, I've got a counter offer, which at the moment is obviously
rife.
And again, just have call, let's talk it through, even if it's not to try and convince you otherwise, it's just to really hear you out and understand, so that we can then deliver that to the client.
Because there's nothing worse than delivering news either side if you don't have the full story. Because there's just so many unanswered questions that you're going to get, and then you're just left feeling like you're kind of in the dark. And there's nothing worse. I'd sooner just chat to someone for a few minutes. So I think we'll vote then, Lauren, is phone dodgers going into the bin. It's gone.
Get it in.
Yes. So we're one down, 2 more to go. So what's number 2 then, Lauren? What is your second pet peeve?
Lazy candidate.
Wow. That's a bold statement, but I'm loving it. Lazy candidates. Talk to me.
In fact, just laziness in general is in my 101. And I'm not saying all candidates are lazy at all.
No.
There are lazy clients. There are very lazy recruiters, I'm well aware.
Yeah.
There are lazy candidates. I think for the purpose of this, we'll be here for 4 hours. Lazy candidates. And what I mean by that is candidates who expect you to do absolutely everything, and don't quite get that it's a partnership, just like in any relationship in your personal life. It's give and take, it's working together, it's not working for the other, and it's got to be a bit of give from both sides.
I'm going to say something here which is a bit controversial, but last year in the pandemic, when we were all working from home, candidates were incredibly grateful. And I've noticed a change. And I have noticed candidates becoming more lazy and expecting everything. And I have noticed more ungrateful candidates, which makes me feel really sad, because the support that we give to a candidate, well, it's vast and it's free of charge. And
that's the thing.
That's the thing is, so if, I think, break it down for me. Which parts of it don't you like? What makes them lazy?
So CVs. I'm going to send you my CV. It's not up to date. I'm working and I've got things on this week. So if I just tell you what I'm doing, could you maybe update it for me? No.
Well, no.
No.
Do you want a new job? Is
Yeah.
it your priority? Is it number one on your priority list? Okay, so updating your CV is. And I get that we all have commitments. Like, I've had a crazy week this week with commitments with George out of school, you know, but still, you've just got to get the job done. It's important, you know, update your CV. Yeah, do it yourself. Yeah. It needs to be in their words as well, doesn't it? You know.
I don't know what you're doing.
No.
And this sounds, you know, sounds me saying it's not my job. My job is to absolutely support you 100% through this journey, and I will do that. And people who work with me, they know I will put everything into a candidate, but it does need to be reciprocated.
Yeah, of course it does.
It has to be.
I'm going to add one in. Candidates who don't do their research when going to an interview. And I don't know how you manage your process. I'm sure it's absolutely the same, but we prep our candidates to the hilt in terms of all the information we can give them about the business, everything that we can pass on. And we probably give them a little bit more than they should get, because they should go away and find it. By always encouraging them, go away and find your own information, look in so many different areas to educate yourself on that business. And when you get the call from the client saying they didn't know what we did, they didn't understand our market, well, that to me is lazy, and you've really let yourself down at the last opportunity, you know.
It's we're exactly the same. Really, really thorough interview preparation. And sometimes, like you said, you almost think, gosh, I've
just done the job for you.
I've really, you know, and I will, because actually the benefit of using an agency is that they know things that if you were going directly, you'd never get that insight, you know.
Exactly.
Having worked with clients for 5-10 years, there's so much under the surface that you know that will be able to help them, which you provide. But I can't tell you the exact questions, and I have had it, not often, on a couple of occasions where a candidate has just been so frustrated that we didn't give them the exact questions. And I think I would never know that, you know. But I've been on the phone for a good hour, just pouring everything that I've got about this company, the people that are interviewing, all this sort of thing. You've got to do some for yourself, you know. Like, we can't do everything. We can only support you to a certain level, and then you've got to want it enough to do it yourself.
Well, because otherwise the business are hiring us, not the actual individual, because we're the one that have given them the information. I think it's a really valuable learning point. If there was a candidate listening to this, you really do need to step up in the recruitment process, and you have to take control of your own destiny. You've got to make tomorrow happen. We can help you, and we can guide you and give you as much information as possible. You've got to show up on that day, and it's got to be you know. And I think it's disappointing when people perhaps don't, because if they go through that interview process on their own without the guidance of themselves, well, they're going to see how hard it is, aren't they?
Yeah.
Scary.
I think it's when, if you're an agency who do, and I know you do as well, it's so service-led. It's, you know, you absolutely go above and beyond. You do sometimes kind of make your own bed a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, of course, because you go above.
Wouldn't change it. No, and you know, we'll say, oh, this is where you're going. There's parking, let's say for an interview or for a temp booking. This is where you park, X, Y, and Z, and we'll still get a call sometimes saying, the road's full. I've got here. Where should I park? And I'm thinking, I don't know, but I'm not there. I don't know where you can park. Come on. You can do this. You don't need us for this.
And I think that's why it's important. I always say to candidates, and I feel like, you know, even after 15 years of saying the same thing, do a dummy run so that you actually know the location that you're going to, just so that you know, in case there was a problem, like if there was a roadblock that even I wouldn't know about, you can find another route. So you know where to park, so you know what the entrance looked like, so you're not stressed, and get there. And some people might disagree with this, but I always say, don't go in this early, but aim to get there a good 30-20 minutes early, just in case there's traffic. You know, you're not going to go in 20 minutes early. You're going to go in maybe that 5-10 minutes early, you know, sit in the waiting room. But if you're there early, well, any of these problems that might happen won't be an issue, because you're not so time specific. You're not there at 8:58 and you should be in the interview at, you know, 9 o'clock. I think that one, I'm putting that in the bin even without you voting, Lauren. That's gone. gone. It's gone.
On the chair. Either.
I know, that's it. Yeah. They didn't do that in Room 101. What did they do that on? Oh, that's
Graham Norton had
Graham
a chair.
Norton. Yes. Maybe that's the next one. Chair. Yeah, maybe I need like a little machine, like throw in the bin. Yeah, it's done. So what's number 3? So for anyone that's just joined in, we are in the middle of Recruitment 101 with Lauren. She's just done her first 2 points. They've gone straight into the bin. What is your final pet peeve of recruitment?
Poor briefs. Terrible briefs.
Yes, Lauren. Poor recruitment briefs. Yeah.
Half-written briefs, however you want to package it up.
No brief.
Briefs that I can't work with.
Yeah. I think this is like a big one, and no one's actually ever discussed it on here. But it's major, isn't it? You know, if we don't have a recruitment brief that is nailed down and we can challenge, how can we support you and bring in someone new into your business? You know,
and it's kind of two sides. It's briefs that are just haven't been thought through. So it's, you know, we're getting 40% of a brief.
Yeah.
Have you got any candidates in mind? I'm thinking, I don't actually know what I'm looking for, if I'm honest, because I don't think you do. So that work needs to be done before engaging with an agency.
Yeah.
Or work together, you know, and that's what we're here for, you know, to partner. So if you've got part of, you know, the information, you think, it'd be really good to talk through this with someone about my options, absolutely fine. But there are fundamentals that we can't decide for you.
Yes, decisions. Yeah, they're business decisions, aren't they? I particularly love going into a business where they've got an idea of what they're looking to bring in, or where they think will add value in the team, and then we support them by, you know, we love to consult. So going out and saying, okay, well, you've got this in your department, this will complement the team, but have you thought about this? And then we build it together, you know, and I will come back and write the job spec for them. We've done that a few times, and then they've gone back into the business and signed it off. They're very small businesses. Working together is great, but one of my big bugbears, and the same this, poor recruitment briefs that were written 10 years ago and they've never been updated. What is that about? You know?
Yeah. If it was a bit of paper, it would be covered in dust. Yeah, I've seen those.
It's when they come through on email and you've had this great discussion about this role on the telephone, and then it comes through on email and the stamp date is, you know, 2001. I'm like, wow. Nothing been edited, no job change in that period.
A coffee stain around the corner, you know, really ancient.
I want this unicorn, Kerri-Ann, but the brief is 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yay!
Right. The other thing on the same, and it's not, it may have been a better brief had I had the right contact, but I don't know about you, if you deal mostly directly with the hiring manager, or in some businesses you deal with HR.
Definitely a blend. Yeah.
But we're the same, and that's absolutely fine. If there are businesses that are a certain size and have a process where it has to go through HR, absolutely fine. The only issue there is HR, and this is not HR's necessarily fault, it's the hiring managers have got to brief HR. If they're the ones that are communicating a brief, you can't communicate something that you don't know. So I found a few times where I've got a very limited brief from HR, and it's very apparent when I'm questioning around all these things
that they don't
no idea, and then that makes my job impossible. You know, what are the team like? I think they're nice. I'm going to need a little bit more than that. So it's you know, the hiring manager would know, and they've got to spend a bit of time communicating that, so that otherwise it's a waste of HR's time as well.
It's a waste of everybody's you know, because ultimately you'll be then getting the nod from HR saying the profiles aren't right, or we were expecting this in an individual and you've not given us that. Well, actually that information wasn't provided, and we are not mind readers. And that's what I always say to, if a candidate doesn't give me all the information, or neither a client, well, I'm not a mind reader. I have this conversation with my 10-year-old every week. I don't know when your homework's got to be a mate. You do. I'm not a mind reader. That may have been a conversation this morning. It goes with recruitment, doesn't it? If you don't spell it out, you know, I can't. I'm not Marvel. I'm not a superhero. As much as I'd like to say we are, we're not. You know.
Yeah, we can only work with what we know and what we've been told. So with all of these examples, it's communication. They all stem back to communication or a lack thereof. So just do the pre-work. And then engage, or brief people internally so that they can find you that right person, so that we can find you that right person.
And don't be afraid, like, to literally say, actually, I don't know all this information. I'm gonna have to connect you. I'm gonna have to put you together so you have this conversation. You know, because we know all the questions that the candidate's going to challenge us on through this recruitment process. And if we can't answer them, well, it makes all of us look like a fool, doesn't it? So I'm with you. Let's vote. Your final Recruitment 101. Are we going?
Yeah.
Yay, we're going. 3 in the bin. Love it. Well done, Lauren. And we'll share the other 50,000 that you've got for another video. That'll be fun.
We do love what we do. I think we should just clarify that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everyone knows that. And it's all tongue in cheek. We absolutely love what I do, but there are frustrations and it's good to talk about them.
I think we're working with people, and like we said before this, it can be so fulfilling and so rewarding, just brilliant. But people are unpredictable, and with that comes frustrations, and it's on recruitment, recruiter side as well. But people can be frustrated.
Yeah, they can. That's it. We all can be, can't we? But with communication, Lauren, as you said, it's so much easier. So that's it. So we have done our 3 Recruitment 101, all in the bin: phone dodgers, laziness, and poor recruitment briefs. Love them, Lauren. Well done.